Here is something that should terrify every single SaaS founder. 90% of agentic AI projects simply fail. But the real story is not about the technology. It's about how these failures are reshaping the entire SaaS pricing landscape in ways most companies simply don't see coming. I was recently reading this Harvard Business Review piece about why agentic AI projects fail, and when you combine it with what's happening in SaaS pricing right now, there is a massive strategic shift that most pricing teams are completely missing. So let me quickly try to paint the picture. SaaS prices jumped 11.4% this year. That is 5 times general inflation. Companies are now spending $8,000 per employee on SaaS tools, which is up 27% in just 2 years. And here's the kicker. 50% of SaaS companies are planning even more price hikes, but they are doing it all wrong. The problem starts with how they think about AI value. Most companies see AI as this magical feature they can bolt onto their product and charge premium prices for. They are thinking AI equals innovation and innovation equals higher prices. So let's add 30% AI surcharge. But that is exactly backwards. Here is what the HBR research reveals. Agentic AI projects fail because companies simply underestimate 3 critical factors. First, the infra costs are actually astronomical. We are talking about API calls that can cost dollars per interaction, not pennies. Second, the implementation complexity means customers need 3 to 6 months just to see some initial value. And third, and this is the killer, the value delivery is highly variable based on use case fit. Now let's connect this with what Scott Woody for Metronome and Kyle Poyer are seeing in the market. The smartest SaaS companies are abandoning per seat pricing entirely, not because it's trendy, but because AI fundamentally breaks the per user model. When an AI agent can do the work of 10 employees, how do you price per seat? The answer? You don't. This is driving a massive shift to usage or outcome based pricing. But here is where it gets interesting from a strategic perspective. The companies that understand AI project failure patterns are building completely different pricing models than those who don't. Let me break down the psychology here. When customers hear AI powered, they simultaneously think expensive and risky. Now that's a toxic combination for pricing. The research shows 90% failure rate creates what I call implementation anxiety. Customers do want the benefits but fear the complexity. Smart pricing strategy must address both sides of this equation. The winners are using what I call progressive value pricing. Instead of charging huge upfront fees for AI features, they are creating pricing that scales with proven value delivery. Start with a base tier that includes limited AI usage, enough to prove value but not enough to create cost overrun. Then add usage tiers that align with customer success milestones. Let's take a concrete example. Instead of charging $50 per user per month plus a $20 add-on for AI, structure it as a $30 base price with included AI credits worth 100 interactions. Additional usage priced at 10 cents per interaction up to 1000 and then 5 cents above that. Now this does 3 things. Lowers the entry barriers, aligns cost with value, and protects your margins from spiraling AI infra costs. But the real strategic insight goes deeper. The HBR article clearly highlights that successful AI projects require massive organizational change management. This means your pricing needs to fund not just the technology, but the success infrastructure around it. Companies getting this right are building implementation insurance into their pricing, which is essentially charging for guaranteed success rather than just software access. Here's the framework I am seeing that works. First, audit your actual AI infra costs, not estimates, real data. Most companies, unfortunately, underestimate by 3 to 5x. Second, map customer value creation patterns. Where does AI actually create 10x value versus marginal improvement? Then price accordingly. Third, build pricing tiers that naturally guide customers toward successful implementation patterns. The psychological principle at play is risk redistribution. By moving from fixed per seat costs to usage-based models with success milestones, you are sharing implementation risk with the customers. This paradoxically allows you to charge higher total price because customers perceive lower risk. For deep AI integration, I am seeing successful companies use 3 tier strategies. Tier number 1, experimental usage with capped costs. Tier 2, production usage with volume discounts. And tier number 3, strategic partnership with outcome-based pricing. Each tier requires different success support, which you build into the unit economics. The the implementation timeline also matters. Price your first 90 days to encourage aggressive experimentation. Months 3 to 6 should incentivize scaling successful use cases. Beyond 6 months, transition to value capture pricing based on proven ROI. Here is what most companies miss. AI pricing is not really just about the AI. It is about the business transformation AI actually enables. Price the transformation, not the technology. If you take away one thing from this video, it is this: the 90% failure rate of AI projects is not a technology problem. It's a business model opportunity. Companies that build pricing models acknowledging this reality will capture massive value. Those pretending AI is just another feature will simply join the 90% failure club. I am Akhil from Monetizely. If you are wrestling with how to price AI capabilities in your product, especially if you are seeing customer hesitation despite clear value proposition, drop a comment. I will break down your specific situation and show you how to turn AI implementation complexity into pricing advantage.